Approved.
Many years ago, a promise was given. Through the years, that seed blossomed to become Roverman Productions. And now, 14 years on, we bring you our 50th play. An original Ebo White play, He Said, She Said.
Ma, darling, am I disturbing you?
Of course not.
He said, she said.
Social media just...
Look, we talk later. You came in at a very bad time.
I came in at a very bad time. When I came in, I asked, darling, am I disturbing? And you said, of course not. Do you remember?
He said, she said.
Leave me alone. When I'm done here, I will come to bed.
Ma, do you still love me at all?
He said, she said. Shows at the National Theatre on September 3rd, 4th, 10th, and 11th. Time, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Rate 100 Ghana Cedis. Tickets available at *365 *535 hash. And Shell Shops at Airport, East Legon, Dansuma and Tema Community 11, Joy FM, Haju and Bajuna Total, and Frankie's Osu. Proudly sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, TFHO, GHQR by Gibbs, and A&E Laboratory, and partnered by National Theatre and Joy FM. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour. Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM, this and every Monday at 9:30 p.m.
And thank you for staying with us here on Joy 99.7 FM and also on Joy Prime Television. This is Home Affairs, and we have been looking at our children going back to school and the challenges they face, especially the girl child in the secondary schools, the challenges they face. If you're just joining us, welcome on board. Last week, we looked at the abuse they deal with at home, especially with their parents, their mothers. And then today we are on the teachers and the caregivers in school and their friends. So next week, my focus simply is, how are you raising your boys at home? How are we raising the boy child? How are you raising that child? It all begins from the home. Before that child goes to preschool, through primary, and even through to secondary school and to the university, they have an upbringing from home. What upbringing are we giving them? And that is the conversation we're going to have next week. Very important. Very, very important. I have some messages here. Edem, my name is Nana, and I need help. I was sad last Sunday when my 16-year-old daughter said she would leave home because her mom is not appreciative of her. She's in SHS2, but she wets the bed, and I believe the teasing at school and stuff have all depressed her. Kindly assist me. This is quite confusing. She is your daughter. She's 16, and she says her mom. Is she talking about you? Can you clarify that for me, please? I would like to put across that many of the teachers who sexually abuse female students do so out of unprofessionalism, indiscipline, lack of control of sexual urges. Some teachers who during their school days back from JHS and SHS have seen their teachers date their colleague females feel it's a usual thing, and since they have also become teachers, it's their time to do same. Girls during adolescence have sexual urges and seem to disrupt and distract teachers with it. And some teachers who should know better take advantage of them. A fact, however, is that many of the cases of sexual harassment is perpetrated by unprofessional teachers in GS, especially those who didn't pass through teacher training colleges. Most of the newest teachers from the colleges of education are underperforming. Teacher training isn't what it used to be anymore. I'm a teacher, but I would never forgive any teacher who sexually abuses my daughter. This is from Walaku, from Amasaman. Okay. So, yes, I said I was coming to you, Doc. to talk about this passionate appeal you were making the other day about, the teachers and what we can do to them, and the new way Juliana is talking about, that we need to have new ways of training teachers.
All right, thank you. I think that our training program for our teachers are professional. I mean, it is standard. If you look at the training for teachers across the globe, you see that we share common traits with most of the colleges of education that trains teachers. The fact is that, and I need to state this, if you are a banker and you are broke, you don't dip your hand into the someone's savings and start spending it. So
What
if
makes
you are
you
a
think
teacher
it's okay?
and you have problems with your self-control, you don't turn around to your students who have been handed over to you to take care of and say that you can't control yourself, or you feel something for them, or so and so on and so forth. So that is technically unprofessional, and that is why I started by saying that they are in a position of trust. It is not allowed, it should not be allowed to happen, and it should be condemned. The problem is that in most schools, the teachers knows those who are doing it. I mean, among themselves, they know those who are doing it. And when we were in secondary school, we knew the teachers who were doing this thing with the girls. We knew them. Okay. The headmaster is not in the position, or mostly headmasters are not in the position to deal with these teachers. The education system, I mean, the punishment that is meted out to teachers who do some of these things is what we know. They will be transferred to another school. And I said it the other day. Assuming, thinking that those in the other school are not human beings. They are, something that the teacher cannot do anything to. So for some of us in the sector, we embrace the licensure system, because that is your key to entering the profession. If a banker behaves unprofessionally and they take his license as a banker from him, he cannot enter any bank in the country. And that is the same thing that the licensure is doing now. And I hope that by the time they roll it out fully, we will see that if a teacher abuses a student, and we are talking about sexual abuse, but the teacher is trained to be a listener. So if you are in a class and the student is giving an answer and you lead in the teasing of that particular child, you are abusing the child. If you are in a class and the student scores 0, and then you do that 0 and you do that thing around the 0, and then you show it and everybody is laughing at the child, you are emotionally damaging that particular child.
Yeah.
That child might not speak ever in your class again. If you are a teacher and you ask a question and the student gets it, and you lead in teasing that particular child, you use words that are not encouraging to that part, you are not being professional. And these are the things that are mentally and emotionally breaking the girls down. So you have your harassment and sexual thing happening, and then in the classroom, when the teacher comes, because maybe he has made advances towards that girl and the girl is being assertive and not giving in, the teacher now tends to verbal abuse and then would now be using words on the child, and the girl breaks down. So these things are not professional, but unfortunately our system is not designed in such a way that these social support systems are available in our schools to help these kids to correct the damages that are being melted out to them. When this teacher does this, there should be somebody in the school who's got the power to call this teacher to order and then give the teacher a query, so that the next time the teacher does the same thing, the thing is taken out of the hands of the headmaster to the education office, and the teacher is dealt with, suspended without pay for months and other things. That is what we need to start doing, and that is what will be able to stop this, because they will not stop doing it. It is not going to stop, but we need to put in systems that will check all these teachers and make sure that they behave professionally as they have been trained and certified to do. And when you are seen to be a frequent abuser of these kids, then it means that you are professionally not prepared to teach the student. Because if the student is not doing well and you are not able to encourage the student, to talk to the student, to guide the student. And now if you come to education, we say that the teacher is a guide by the side. He's a facilitator. These are terminologies that we are using in the 21st century teaching system. If you are a guide by the side, you are like somebody who is helping somebody who is visually impaired. You hold a person's hand and you guide him through the proper path that he's going, and then you help him get to his destination. So you being the guide by the side cannot be the one distracting the child. It should not be allowed to happen. But that is what we experiencing, and that is why we think that the very moment people are licensed and they engage in these things, the first point should be that their licenses are withdrawn so that they cannot be seen in any educational institution. And when teachers start seeing these things, you've taught for 30 years and you are going to sit down because you are not able to control yourself to allow your license to be withdrawn, I think they will start thinking about it. Beautiful. Again, in the school system, there should be support systems in there. And these should be championed by the headmasters. Unfortunately, sometimes they are the perpetrators of this. So I'm thinking that the education system should have some short code or whatever it is that students can just test a message or whatever they are going through to that short course without the identity being known. There should be something, we have this suggestion box there in our administration. So a student should be encouraged to write anonymous letters and then drop it into the suggestion box without mentioning their names, so that teachers who are doing this, when there is a staff meeting, these letters will be read or these complaints will be read and then their names are mentioned. If we have a very good headmaster who will take this up, the guidance and counseling unit in our schools, I said the other time, is dead and gone. We don't even pump money into it. Unfortunately, I wasn't there to listen to what the regional director of education said about that, but I'm hoping that they will be able to resource these people. There should be professional counselors in the schools, not the ones who I've done guidance and counseling. I did it in level 400, but I'm not a counselor. I cannot counsel you. And that is what we do now. Now we have people who did a course in guidance and counselor being counselors, and at the same time they are teaching. So if they have a problem with the student, he is the same person or she is the same person that the teacher walks to and then have that kind of exchange. And let me also say this. We are saying these sexual abuses, but sometimes too, the female teachers are culprits of this. Some of them, and I don't know whether Juliana might have had some of these stories, but some of them even link the students to the male teachers on campus. They serve as the conduit.
And their husbands.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the height of it.
Exactly. So we it's not only about the male teachers. Some of the female teachers are also
doing it,
encouraging these things happening. They sit in the staff room and then they say, look at how this girl has dressed. Look at your dress. If the teachers abuse you, then you'll be complaining. This is a female teacher who is supposed to understand the psychology of the child and supposed to help the child out of the abuses that he or she is going through. You've won this and you are walking around. If a teacher abuses you, you come and tell me. You see what I'll do to you. These are the things that our teachers are doing, and I think that we need to call them out. The best way to handle this is to call them out. Apart from the CPD trainings on what harassment entails, what abuses entail, we need to call them out, and it starts with the leaders. The headmasters in the schools. If you're able to do this, we will be able to minimize it to the barest minimum. And those who still go on with that, we withdraw their licenses by the National Teaching Council.
Doc, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 of your passion and energy is all we need to curb this. Doc has said a lot.
Yeah.
You said, some of the female teachers, they link the girls to their husbands.
Yes, they do.
What is that?
Yeah, but like Doc is saying, a female teacher who should know best. If a female hasn't dressed well, you are rather to educate the person. You are rather to direct the person how to dress. But sitting in the staff common room to say, look at the way this girl is. Charlie, can you go after this girl?
God will punish them.
Yes. So I think Doug has said it all.
Yeah.
One of the things that we need to look at is the Career and Guidance Counseling Center. We should equip that department or that section, because most of the schools are not having career and counseling center running. They fall on the teachers, and that is where they are also being trapped. Because some teachers may look innocent, but they do things which is not bringing good image to the teaching.
So
as
the
teachers.
people that the teachers you know,
Yeah.
I just give you 1 minute, who then who do some of these things. You, the ones that are good, what do you do to them? What do you tell them?
Normally, you have to talk to them.
Or you mind your business?
Not minding your business. There will be a time you have to mind your business, because even if you want to go further, maybe the head is also doing
Then
it.
you may be victimized.
So you may be victimized. But the thing is, you talk to the person. You also have to find a good way in also educating him. Because some of them, like I said, from their JHS and in their home and everything, I've seen things of those nature, like bullying, sexual harassment in their area as common. So when he's practicing it, he doesn't feel anything wrong about it. He doesn't see anything wrong about it. So the thing is, before even as part of the teacher training, they have to look at the person they are recruiting.
A background check.
The background checks. Psychologically, is the person sound to be a teacher? Also, what is the passion for a girl child? Because if you don't have that passion to educate a girl, if you don't have passion to raise up a girl, I don't think when you are doing something harmful to a girl, you care. Those are the things we need to look at, because now teachers only come to class just to teach and go, but the welfare of the student is none of his business.
I've heard of instances where teachers like you, probably, who would like to put some corrective measures in place, have conversations with some of the teachers, they gang up against the good teachers and say things about them and petition, and they are rather transferred to other places, because then you become a hindrance in their ways to doing the things that they want to do. And this is very pathetic. So if people can have all these vicious minds and attitudes towards a girl, just so you can satisfy that animal in you, then I don't see it. Janelle, I'll come and take your last words before we go, but I'm encouraging you to bring your family and loved ones this and every Sunday to the Oak Plaza Hotel Lucida restaurant for the best Ghanaian buffet lunch in town. Complimentary local drinks, water, and entertainment is available. Discounts are available for group bookings. So make your reservations now. You can call 020-511-1235 or 0302-210630. Numbers again, 020-511-1235 and 0302-210630. Oak Plaza, a good place for good food and memorable experiences. And once again, good food brings good memories. That's why taste matters. And Onga is the taste master. As taste masters, we give every meal that superior taste. A wide range of Onga flavors assures you of a superior taste and irresistible aroma. Why don't you get your Onga powders? The stew, the 3 mix, which is a combination of ginger, onions, and garlic, and our classic and chicken. Oh yes, and for the Onga tablets, we have the shrimp, the chicken, beef, and the stew. We have a flavor for every meal. This is just what you need for an Ongalicious meal. And by the way, Ongalicious is the new delicious Onga, Mama's helping hand. Ilili. Juliana, I'll take your final thoughts on everything we are saying.
I'll take it from when I mentioned that we needed to train teachers differently. You know, our education system was created earlier before females were given access. So the structure, I don't think, includes gender training, creating gender awareness for them to produce a teacher that is aware about these things. So we most times discuss the issue as if the teacher already knows. But the teacher is also a product of our society that laughs at rape jokes. That is, the teacher is also a member of our society that listens to most of the tree reportage that trivializes rape, bullying, and sexual abuses, that objectifies girls and sometimes says, and now okori mango bunu, referring to a child being raped.
Defilement.
So, you know, the child is mango bunu. And so this teacher is a product of that society. Now, when they go through the training system, do we have a curriculum that actually creates this awareness for them, trains them to understand gender and how it impacts their training, their teaching profession when they go out there? No. We don't teach them how the girl child develops, so that when the girl is in that stage of having a crush and is expressing that crush, which is a natural thing towards that male teacher, how is the male teacher trained during the training
to respond
to such advances?
Yeah,
that's how come they rape them. And some of those teachers will say she wanted it. Yes, maybe she showed signs, but they were natural signs of being human. And you must be in a position to guide that humanness into perfection. But because they don't, I believe most of them don't know. Because when I interact with them, at the first instant...
Juliana, you have to wrap up. We have to leave.
Okay. At the first instant, they behave like it's trivial. By the time you go deeper, they're like, okay, I never saw it that way. So I'm saying, let's train teachers differently.
Great.
And then to our children, let's open up and create an environment for them to thrive.
Thank you very much. I have a lot to say, but I guess I will leave it for another time. My name is Edem Knight-Tay, and this has been Home Affairs. I'd like to say a very big thank you to you, Doc Pate Auntie, to you, Juliana. Juliana is founder, team lead for Girls Excellence Movement, and then Mr. Samuel Cobson, who is a teacher in one of the secondary schools. You guys have been awesome. Thank you very much for being a part of our conversation, and to my production team.